Hey guys, and welcome back to the next video. Today we want to talk about kind of like a small trick we used to qualify in Poland and tried to get an advantage. Overall, you can use this trick in every single one attack war, which means all of the CWL wars, you can use that and hopefully get an advantage. So it's all about not getting 1 or even 0 stars, because as soon as you have those, it's pretty much really hard to come back, especially when it's getting like against or in those 5v5 wars, or even in the 50v15 war. You probably notice already, as soon as you have 1 stars, it's getting super hard to come back. To show what I mean, I will go into FC and kind of show you how you can practice this to not get 1 stars, and what is kind of the thinking behind that. So the way how we came up with this was when we were in Poland for the March qualifier with Danny, Maxi, Mutke, Zebix and me. We still practice like on our bases, try to figure out some last stuff. Like normally you get some information on the first day on like the teams who are there already. Like what strategies do they use and all this stuff. So you can use those strategies against your bases and try to figure out, okay, do they have a chance against that? What can we fix like last minute pretty much? And most of our bases were pretty good, so it got really annoying to test them. And at one point, the queen died immediately from one of our guys, and he was like, come on, I don't want to test anymore. Dude, you will finish the attack. And then the goal was pretty much to save the 2-star, which in the end, we came up with the idea to make this on purpose. Like, place the queen, let her immediately die, like, queen, healers, let her do her thing, and as soon as she died, then you have to get and secure the 2 stars, which is sometimes not that easy. And with training this, like doing this on purpose, letting your queen die, it actually trains a certain way on attacking. Like, you need to think fast. Like on this attack, for example, my queen died, and now I have to somehow secure the 2-star. I have to get pathing into the town hall. I have to get the town hall, maybe to get rid of the enemy CC, like I do right now with the poison. With it, you cannot train fast thinking, which is super important. All those CWL wars, because it comes down to first, most of the time, percentage, and as well not to not fail pretty much, to get at least 2 stars. And especially on attacks like minors, it's normally pretty easy to do. But as soon as you do attacks like Queen Charge Hawks, Lalo, and other strategies where you don't have the option to activate the Town Hall, you have to get creative, it's super important. And that's what we trained. And we told all of our members as well, you should train that if you want to like perform better overall. And like you guys can see, I tried to somehow fix the attack, use the king to clear out the outside trash so I can use all of my miners directly onto the defenses and they will get like onto the town hall. At least that's the idea. I did not use the warden hour so far. I used the ram now to just help with tanking, get my king in over there so all of the miners go inside. And like I said, minus is one of the more easier things, and I will show a couple of replays after this attack with Hawks, for example, because Hawks are probably the hardest to save as soon as our queen died. And those like tricks, those practice, you can increase the difficulty level every single time. Like, for example, on this one, it was pretty easy to save because I did not use a rage. I did not use the ram or anything. So if you want to create like a more difficult environment to actually save the 2-star, try to swag spells or try to like on purpose waste certain resources, like drop the king for the funnel already, drop the ram already, which goes inside of the base and then it's pretty much wasted, stuff like this. And then you have to still try to save the 2-star, and this will make you a way better attacker, especially in, like I said, those one attack wars where it's so important to get the 2nd star, which is like kind of hit or miss, do or die. And if you get those 1 stars, it's pretty much over most of the time. So that's what I can tell you helped us a lot in Poland. For example, my first attack in Poland in the March qualifier was where my queen went into the wrong direction. And I pretty much used this technique kinda to like settle down, think about what are my options, and then in the end I had like a 90% 2-star save. which is for the queen going into the wrong direction in the queen walk pretty impressive. At least I think that. So that's a huge thing. And if you guys want to practice, like I said, start kind of easy, just let your queen die, then increase the difficulty level with using rage spells, even though it won't save your queen. Like, you have to let your queen die, use the rage spell, just to make sure that you have less spells. For example, on this attack, Vale, everyone knows Vale, like, he's a super good attacker, but even like for him, sometimes there are mistakes and you have to save those attacks. Otherwise, you cost your team kind of triple if it's only going to be a 1-star. On this one, queen is nearly going on side, is getting lured once again back inside to the enemy clan castle troops. Queen is going inside, so everything is looking fine. Used already a lot, like the ram is already got already deployed, poison spell, and he will pretty soon use another rage spell. So there are already a lot of resources invested into the queen, and so far he only got 26% of the base, and he used the king already as well. And like you guys can see, he has the hawks with him, and now you can see the small arrow. He thinks that he's fine. He already looks like on another side of the base, thinking about, okay, where do I when do I start with the hawks? Queen is dying, and now you can see like he's waiting. Like, as soon as I start once again with the replay, you can see that he's like waiting for a little bit and thinking about, okay, how do I get the percentage? 28% so far on this base, and he still has to save it and get the 2-stars. Expos are shredding the healers, so you cannot really count on them. Then he's just like placing a couple of minions for percentages, and now you have to somehow get the town hall active. And this is crucial, especially the communication between you and your teammates. That's another thing what you can train with that. Now he's using the rage and heal spells just to like snipe those outside defenses, so he can behind that safely get some more percentage with his wizards, which is really, really clever over here. Once again, a couple of more hawks onto the mortar, so all of his troops are safe on the right side. 39% so far already. So he's slowly climbing up and still has to get the town hall. Still a couple of hawks left. The jump spell won't really help any, pretty much. Like, it's completely useless in the rest of the attack because, well, you still can jump hawks, but won't be too effective. So sending in the hawks at around 47% maybe. Rage here, and then the vulnerability pretty nicely. And in the end, he still got around 60-70%, which is pretty good if you consider that this was like a complete fail. So that's what is super, super important, especially if you attack with those like mixed, like multi-phase attacks, like Queen Charge Hawks, minus Lalo, and even on P.E.K.K.A. Smash. Just let your queen die onto the, like, when you do the final Queen Hawk, and try to fix the attack. Try to save the 2-stars. And especially on P.E.K.K.A. Smash, sometimes it's getting really difficult because you don't have those percentage troops. Most of the time it's kind of like a spamming everything and just rely on the power of the heroes combined with the P.E.K.K.A.s and bonus and everything. That's what you normally do on the P.E.K.K.A. Smash attack. But if your queen dies, it's sometimes really hard to get into the town hall if you're not going direct into the town hall. Even if you do that, sometimes it's tricky to get the percentages. So try for sure, like, try to learn this. And now we see the next attack, this time from Tomzy. And once again, Queen Charge Hawks. In my opinion, the hardest attack, that's why I show this twice, like this attack strategy. On this one, he's using the king once again for the final. Kind of like a similar attack, but overall a different base. You can see there are no expos shooting at the queen this time. And CC, like, his ram is getting opened, everything's looking fine. Queen doing her thing over there. Enemy CC is getting lured to the enemy, like to his own king, which isn't a huge problem or anything. So that's everything okay. Rage spell, so his queen will stay alive. Everything is looking good. Couple of hawks on the outside Teslas, like everything is looking alright so far. Queen is doing her thing, getting frozen by the ice golem, and then once again another ability is getting used because of the combination of the dragon and the loon. And now you can see like the issue, like 2 expos right now are on her, and pretty soon the enemy queen is joining them, which means queen will die. And on this one he has 32%, trying to save it with the free spell, but still like so many expos on his queen, so he can't really do anything about that. 33%, now the queen dies, and that was pretty much it. He even swags a free spell, which wasn't on purpose. I think he just wanted to try to zoom out and had the free spell selected because he was thinking about using them or using the free spell onto the expos. But now he somehow has to save the attack, like get the freaking 2-star, which means he's thinking like, once again, you have to take your time just to like calm down, because if you fail one of those entries in an attack like this, most of the guys, and I think you too, will be kind of stressed. I would be stressed as well. Or I was stressed as well when I did my first attack in the qualifier. My queen went into the wrong direction, so it is completely normal. But at the same time, you have to concentrate, try to get your things together, think about, okay, how can I save that? And you can see how he did perfectly, like snipe the buildings around the town hall, like the defenses, and now the town hall is activated. Everything is getting into the town hall, warden ability really nicely, and this means in the end he has a lot of spells left to support his hawks. Raid spell just to get through the expo, heal spell really nicely, place, and that's pretty much it on how to save those tags. Like I said, it sounds kind of simple, like take your time, etc. But you should train that if you want to get better at Clash of Clans, and especially in the current meta, which is this one attack, because that's where the money is, kinda. So if you want to get better at that, you should for sure try to test that. And like I said, increase the difficulty level every single time. Try to swag more things, like in the beginning, just your Queen Morg, then add another rage, then maybe add the King as funnel, then add, I don't know, the Ram, etc., etc., and still tries to save those attacks. And you will notice it's getting more and more difficult, but knowing how to react in those situations will help you a lot, especially when you're like under stress and you have to kind of perform to save your team. So that's a huge tip from me. If you guys liked the video, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, let me know below in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.